So the TNL patch notes for the 3rd of January are out, and they're massive. They're absolutely massive. We went through them today on stream to try and get a little bit of a TLDR on what's going on, and I kind of have that for you, but I'm going to spend a little bit of time running through what I think is kind of the more important patch notes, and taking into consideration I'm still getting used to the game, so I'm still kind of figuring out what is important, the balance changes, all that sort of stuff, but I'm going to do my best to run you through them now. So this is them. As a very quick TLDR. This is some of the more important bits. So sandworm. So there's 2 pieces of content. The sandworm is here. Queen Blendy. There is some content coming to Greyclaw Forest. Local event. There's a field boss. There's an origin stone and a dimension stone. Now I think these are what I know as boon stones and rift stones, I think. And then there's the guild raid. And then we have Lizard Island, which I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, I think is going to be Sarudoma Island for me. And I think there's just a little bit of translation errors on the website. There has been some buffs to some weapons. There has been party improvements. There has been an insane amount of bug fixes. And one of the biggest changes is that on the daily dungeon limit, instead of there being, I think it's like a 600 recharge at the moment, it's now 900, and your reserves, instead of being 1800, are now 4500. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of these patch notes. I'll quickly TLDR you some of them, show you where the bosses are going to be spawning and that sort of stuff, because I'm in game currently. And yeah, let's jump into it quickly. So these are coming out as of recording now. They're dropping tonight, so it's in about a few hours. By the time you watch this video, the patch should be down and this should be live. But so the arch boss, she is spawning in the sandworm lair. Now this is it, Queen Belendir, as it's called for us. Queen Belend, Queen Blendy, whatever you want to call it. This is where she is. Now she does spawn once a week, and this is what she drops: a nice blade, nice sword and shield, crossbow, staff, and some gear. But the way you see this, I'm gonna click on the little territory info here, and this is where she is. So she's going to be spawning in here. Now, if we go quickly look at, I'm going to show you on this screen. If you look at the timetable, and we'll go to daily, we'll condense that. She actually spawns on Sunday the 7th at 1 o'clock for me. Now, this should be in your own time zone, but this is where she's going to spawn. Some nice drops from her. The next is Greyclaw Forest. So, essentially the new boss is spawning, which is Kawan. Now we have Kawanjuki. Kawan. Let me show you in game what I mean by this. So if we head over to Greyclaw Forest, we click on the info here, you can see what I'm talking about. We've got Lycan Kawanzan, and then we have normal Kawanzan. Now I do believe that this guy is going to be during the daytime. It says here actually spawn conditions daytime, and then spawn conditions nighttime. Now this is him in wolf form essentially, and what I meant by the stones is we've got a rift stone here and we have a boon stone, but on the patch notes is actually labeled as origin stone and dimension stone. So that's that one. Then we have Lizard Island. Now I don't know of any other island that looks like the Jurassic Park kind of island, apart from this, as it's called for us, Sarudoma, which is the one down the bottom here. Here, Sarudoma Island, which I think, as it's translated here, is a lizard island. This is spawning. You can straight up swim to it, but at the moment, the big whale that flies around the sky normally ends up around here and drops you in the water, and then you can swim over to it. But this is now spawning within the route of the whale, so this island should be opening up, which is kind of cool. So 3 pieces of content being added. Well, more than 3, but 3 kind of zones of content. Now this is the big change, which is going to affect near on all of us. It's this here. This is the daily charge amount. So at the moment, what does it say? Does it say what we've got at the moment? No, I think at the moment it's like 600 and our reserves are 1800, but it's going to charge us with 900 and our reserves will be 4,500. Now, if you have no idea what this is, it's this up the top here. So we're looking at here, the contract tokens dimension. Now, basically what happens is you run a dungeon, and when you get to the end of the dungeon, if you wanna loot the chest, you then need these tokens to loot it. And these recharge on the daily. So yeah, you can see here, well, our current recharge is 600 and our reserve is 1800. It's going to be a 900 recharge on the daily with a reserve of 4,500. Now what that means is if you go offline for like 4 days, this is just going to stack up. So you're not necessarily losing out. That's a big change for a lot of us because that's where we're getting a lot of our gear. There are some changes across here. Now, I don't think there was anything crazy. They've just sort of fixed, buffed, amended some of the areas here. So Cursed Wasteland's got quite a lot of changes. Temple of Raw, Temple of Slaughter, Reaper's Abyss, Underground Cave of Destruction. So for example, this is the ant boss, as a lot of us have been doing, I think. Fixed an issue where a caterpillar skill used by Recrius exploded faster than a set time. So it's just kind of fixes, essentially. So if you've been having trouble with any of these dungeons, then have a quick look there. This is another great one. It's a very small one, but a very big one. Join a party. Now, at the moment, to join a party, if someone puts their party, what do you call it? Their party link in chat, you have to leave your current party. But what it says here is it's been improved so that you can apply to join another party even while you're in a party. So it's a small change, but it's a great one. Now, they also have here a party leader token. Now, I think what this translates to is a party ping system. So if I'm the leader of the party, instead of you having to press T to target my mob, we should be able to do Control F1 to F8, which will then highlight that particular mob, which will then show the rest of the party what I, as the party lead, want you guys to target. Very cool, very, very sort of simple. They've added a weapon appearance system, so a transmog system. You just need to head into the mirror boutique and then you can change your weapons. And this is where the sort of the buffs and there's not really any nerfs. This is where the buffs are happening. So the sword has had a skill buff here. The daggers cooldown's been changed to 18 seconds, which was previously 24, which was for the sword throw skill. The great sword has had a buff as it's dubbed here, the two-handed sword. Da Vinci's Resolve, I think that's what we've called it, has had a bit of a buff. The special strike damage has been buffed as well. Earth Cleave, you can see here, we've gone from 255 to 295, so the damage has been buffed. The crossbow has had a slight buff. What they've done across the board is they've sort of buffed weapons. Rather than nerfing something that's overpowered, let's say, they're kind of bringing all the other weapons up to speed with it. That's how I'm taking this. So depending on your weapon that you're running, take a little look here. I think the guys that are running the daggers are pretty happy with their buff. And the great swords obviously had quite a big buff too, so it's quite nice. Then there's just some generic changes. This is quite a nice one. Now, I had a couple of you guys in chat that played Lost Ark that were quite happy with this one. So you can now move your character by left clicking the mouse. You just need to head into preferences, gameplay, character, which will now allow you to left click move, and then you can maybe do WASD, QER, whatever, for your skills. So you can change that around. Some changes here with your mouse movement again. Nothing too crazy here. As we move on down, we're kind of about halfway through the patch notes now. They've sort of adjusted some of the systems again. So content and the systems revolving around that content and how they work. This I don't think is too interesting for the majority of us. They're just balancing things to make it better. I wouldn't worry too much about any of this. This is quite nice. So they've made some changes to the UI. So in the main menu, you can go directly to your storage. It's kind of cool. They've added how long there is left on the day and the night cycle. At the moment, if we go in and have a little look, I can't see on the screen. Ding, there we go. We don't know how long's left. It just says, well, you can see from this, but it's actually given us an actual timer to say when the day's going to end. Kind of cool. The rest of this doesn't matter too much. I don't think there was nothing here that really kind of took my fancy and got me excited. Some improvements, some adventure and exploration codex have been improved. I think they're essentially lowering the requirements on some of these. So if you're a smaller guild, what you need to do to get the rewards from it has been lowered. So for example, the Black Howling Plains, the Return of the Wolf, have 1 wolf tail in the hunting competition has been reduced from 50 to 30. The butcher of the field has been reduced from 3 times to 2 times. They've just lowered everything. They've sort of lowered the threshold here to allow people to get involved. Now, some things that don't matter at all at the moment, but maybe if you were looking to get this, for example, Queen Belendi's blade, the sword, they've already made an adjustment, and I don't think the boss has even spawned yet. So, essentially, for you New World players out there, it creates what happened on this sword and shield is it created a grav well. The grav well now, instead of it just attracting all enemies within 5-meter radius, it does a slow, I think, reduces the movement speed of enemies in the area by 20%, disappears after 2 seconds, and then pulls enemy to the area within the center with a 70% chance. So it still has a grav well element to it. Kind of cool. They've done some targeting lock-on for the gamepad, so like a controller amendments here. So basically doing some improvements to the controller. And then all of these here are just fixes and bug fixes and modifications, as they've called it here. Yeah, just fixes, which is good to see already. And then finally, to kind of finish off this patch, they've changed the battle pass. And obviously most of this is in Korean and I don't particularly understand it, and I'm not purchasing shit on this account, but they've changed the battle pass. Da Vinci's Star Pass has begun. There is a new skin called the Indomitable Commander. There is a new toy, or a pet as we like to call it, the Demon Lord, which I believe is this one. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And then there is a new mount, like a running mount, which I think is the bunny. So we've got the skin, the bunny, and the pet. And then they also have a new greatsword, or glacier weapon series. So I'm guessing this is across all the weapons, but this is what the greatsword's going to look like. I don't think we have visuals here of the rest, but you get an idea. That greatsword, at least in the picture, looks really fucking cool. And that's it. It's the end of the Christmas event already, which is super cool. The merchants are staying until January the 10th. This is the second while I'm recording this. So you got until the 10th to use your tokens that you would have got during the event. And they've also just finished off the patch notes with what they know is in and what they're fixing right now. So battle, the movement speed increase effect that exists in whatever and whatever branches of the longbow weapon proficiency does not apply. They know what's happening and they know what they're fixing. This is an absolutely huge patch notes to get us going with a good amount of content, a good amount of changes to the weapons, just a good amount of stuff across the board. Now, I've got 3 minutes before we've got to get this guild contract done. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for being part of the video as always. I'm going to try and keep you guys up to date with a quick TLDR on my very layman's terms of patch notes. If you've got anything that you would like to add to what I've said, please do in the comments below. Helping each other figure this shit out is awesome. Are these all bots here? They fucking look like it. Anyway, boys, peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you on the next video.